There was some renewed buzz yesterday because Nathan Wade has done another interview, this time with CNN on The Source with Kaitlan Collins. It was a 15-minute interview, which you can go check out. It's on YouTube in full. But I noticed that Kaitlan Collins made this tweet where she says, "My exchange with Nathan Wade tonight on the timeline of his romantic relationship with District Attorney Fani Willis, including an interruption from a member of his team as he was answering when it began and when it ended." So from a PR perspective, you might hear me say, this is why you shouldn't do interviews. But let's see what we make of this. And it's obviously going to be apparent that he has some type of PR person or advisor in the room with him during this interview.
What is your current relationship with the district attorney?
Just as outlined earlier, we are great friends. We speak regularly. The conversation has changed, though, whereas before our conversations were about this case. I'm sure you could imagine and appreciate the amount of time that it takes that you have to pour into a case a case of this magnitude, trying to prosecute those defendants. But our conversations have shifted to how are you handling the threats that are coming your way? Are you being safe? Democracy, the case will live on, kind of thing.
Just to clarify, when did the romantic relationship between the two of you start?
Yeah, so we get into. There's been this effort to say that okay, these exact dates are at issue, and these exact dates are. I'm getting signaled here.
He says, "I'm getting signaled here." He's looking off screen, and what happens? Shuffling.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, take it. You want to go off mic for a second?
Yes.
Okay.
And then can you go off mic for a second?
Keep rolling.
Yeah, keep rolling. Don't stop down there. Stay at speed.
What do you guys think is going on?
That's good?
Yeah, good.
His face.
Everything okay?
Yeah.
Just to revisit the question, it was to clarify when the romantic relationship started and when it ended.
Sure. So, I believe that the public has, through the testimony and other interviews, the public has a clear snapshot that this is clearly just a distraction. It is not a relevant issue in this case, and I think that we should be focusing on more of the facts and the indictment in the case.
Well, I ask because obviously it's still a pending matter. It's going to be before the Court of Appeals. And you talked about how proud you were of all the work that you.
And that's also another reason, maybe don't do these interviews where you have to have your advisors present to pull you aside, because it's still in progress. It's still in play. It still matters. But let's keep going.
You did in this office. And I think the question that people have when they hear from the Court of Appeals, this isn't happening until next spring, is did the relationship jeopardize that work that you did in this investigation?
And therein lies the issue, why we wouldn't touch upon the work of the Court of Appeals or some higher court, because it's a pending issue before them. I think that we should allow them, take a step back and allow them to take the evidence that they have and do their work, make the decision.
Right, but you did testify to this, and you were asked on the stand about when it started and when it ended. It just wasn't completely clear, because before it said before the indictment, which was August 15th here in Atlanta, and then later the answer was at the end of that year. And so I think that was the clarity that people were seeking of when it started and when it ended.
Sure, and there again, there's a question before the court. And that is the crux of the question. I don't choose to say or do anything that would jeopardize the case or the court's ruling. I prefer to allow them to make their decision based upon what they have, and accept it.
Do you believe, as you reflect on this, that your relationship with the district attorney was a mistake?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. What I believe is this whole conversation is a distraction. That's all. It's a tool to stop the train, to slow down the inevitable, which is the trial of the defendants named in the election interference case.
So, what do you think? What do you think? And remember, this is Kaitlan Collins uploading this segment on X. This isn't included in the final cut of the interview, what we just saw. But, I mean, it's not really a surprise, but being able to see it behind the scenes, that there's an advisor in place, and we see them walk away when this question's asked, when exactly did your relationship with Fani Willis begin? And I think this is the third interview we've watched where Nathan Wade is referring to this focus on the relationship as just a distraction. But then he keeps showing up and doing these interviews where he knows he's going to be asked about this thing that he's saying is just a distraction, which is bringing more attention to it. So, you know, strategically, I have questions about what is the reason behind this interview? What do you guys think? I'm also curious what your opinion is on this behind the scenes clip. This interruption wasn't part of the final cut that got aired, but really interesting to see, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. The floor is yours. You guys all have a good one. Bye.